Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to be another animal? What it feels like to be in motion in your body? What you can smell, what they taste, what they hear? Maybe it's just me and the fact that I do this every day. But let me tell you this. Well, before I tell you that, let me tell you this other thing. Everybody can do this, including you. That's a whole other conversation on how to, but you can, just know that. So just coming back to how that feels, there are really no words to articulate the feeling of becoming another animal and sensing from all of their senses. Like this guy who came to visit me in my walk the other day. Walking for me is a little bit like a meditation. It is a place where I can just still my mind because it's a very busy mind and it has trouble shutting down. But I can still my mind and just, if I have questions that need answering, they usually come in then. It's also like a little portal for anyone and anything that wants to come and chat to me. And I was really not even thinking about animals, to be honest. And this cat, this black cat, came into my inner vision. And I actually knew that it was a Black Jaguar, but I thought to myself, oh, maybe this is just a regular domesticated black cat. And for some reason, because this is what my head does, I went off to think, what does it feel like for them to become invisible? And then it was just like I opened a door for the Black Jag to just share with me all sorts of really interesting things. Well, they were interesting to me. And if you're still here, maybe you might find these interesting too. So the first thing, because animals can make themselves invisible really easily. We have an energy field. Everybody has an energy field. We can feel each other outside of ourselves. So, you go into that boardroom or that meeting and there's just something really not quite right. There's someone in there that might be really angry or snarky or something like that. And you can feel it when you walk in the door. We're feeling each other's energy. The same thing for animals. So what I was getting shown with the Black Jaguar was their energy field comes right down about a foot off their body. And if you don't know what a foot is, it's about 30 centimeters. So it's right down about a foot off their body, so quite low. It's really hard to describe some of these things, but it's really, really still, not paralyzed, but just completely suspended in midair. But within that energy field, from the skin level to the edge of the energy field, it is supercharged. Like everything is really active in there and all the senses are pinging. What happens though is that other animals or humans can't see them until they're basically on top of them. And it just reminded me of the stealth bomber. You don't hear them until they're over the top of you. Well, at least in Top Gun, you don't. And so what would happen is an animal would come in and they wouldn't feel them until they're basically on top of them. When I ask them when they do this, it's often when they're resting. So I'm assuming that that is actually pretty much the same as how a domesticated cat makes themselves invisible. Those times you go looking for Fritz and Fritz is nowhere to be seen. We've looked on top of the bookcase 15 times and Fritz is definitely not there. But on the 16th time, when Fritz is ready to be seen, there she is. You can see Fritz. So I thought that might be the end of our show and tell, but apparently not, because we had to look at paws, we had to look at whiskers, we had to look at the tail and all the senses around the hair and all of those things. So we went off then to the paws. Now, what they showed me was this hot, hot paw, which they're not always like that, but this scorching hot paw, which if it touched my face, it would sizzle. When this paw is on the ground, these 4 paws, and they're really hot, what I see from the center of the paw down into the earth, a foot or two, is just this really strong connection, like they're locked in and it feels very magnetic. So, they're very heavy on the earth, but not heavy like they're fighting gravity. It's heavy like they are recharging, like you've plugged a battery into charge. And that's what they're doing. They're charging themselves up and they're also healing themselves, because what I'm showing is the heart rate drops, the respiratory system starts to slow down, the nervous system calms down, the adrenal glands, they also relax. So when their feet are hot and they connect in, they are recharging. Now, when they're just kind of cruising around doing jaguar things, their feet are more body temperature. and they're very, very light. Their entire body is very light. Well, where when they are plugged in, their body is really, really not heavy, but strong. It's like, oh, I just feel so powerful, like a powerful jaguar. Hello, Mr. Jaguar, Mr. Jaguar. I could do a rap song here. Anyway, carry on. So that was very interesting. Now, I thought we'd finished, but show and tell was not finished. We went to the tail, and right at the end of their tail is like this bulb sort of thing. And it may not actually look like a bulb, but the end of the tail, you know, about this far down the end of the tail, is highly, highly sensitive. And so what I see with that, I see this tail kind of swishing and kind of moving. And I hear that they can sense up to about 15 meters behind them and around their back end, which, you know, the back end, this is our base chakra there. It's the area of safety and survival. So they need to have eyes at the back of their butt, and it happens to be their tail in many ways. From there, I'm taken to the fur on their back, or really on their entire body. And when I feel that, when that is kind of working, and again, that kind of moves and it's looking around, it's like another set of eyes or lots of eyes, but it feels really, really strong, and almost like if you pressed your hand on it, it would be like a porcupine spine. So it feels really stiff and sharp. Now, show and tell, again, was still not over, because I'm walking and I'm trying to finish off, and I'm just trying to, watch the ocean and listen to the birds. But Black Jag was just not quite ready to finish off with his information. Excuse me. And this was interesting. We've gone to the whiskers. So we're just kind of having a look at all the senses, really. We were at the whiskers. And for whatever reason, I wanted to know what it was like to have them damaged or cut off, because I know there's some rather unsavory humans out there that cut the whiskers on their cats. And I can't even imagine it. But I was shown this by the jaguar, what it feels like. So these whiskers, I see them sort of fanning like the tail. I see them fanning back and forth and kind of individually moving. And they're all like little antennas, as are the tail and the fur. Like there's just little antennas going on all over the place. They were super, super charged. And when I see one of them cut, I just feel my entire strength disappear from my face, my head. I feel myself just melting into the ground. And then I see this big wave that goes down to the back end. So that then is the point of communication, and all the senses have to be hyper vigilant back there. Now, that is if all of the whiskers were taken out, say, but if I just have one whisker that is cut, I feel the same thing. Now, they recover from that. It's like they've got to go and step away and just kind of regroup a little bit. But I see all of the whiskers kind of losing some of their power just with one going out. So if you took all of them off, if you pulled them out or you cut them off or they were damaged in some way, they would have no system to feel where they are and what's going on around them. So do not ever cut the whiskers off your cat, because actually, aside from the fact that I just feel like all of the systems shutting down in the body, it hurts. Yep. It may just look like a little bit of thick cotton, but it actually hurts when you cut them. It's a sharp knife-like pain that I sense when I'm sensing that. Now, here's something that fascinated me. When I was looking through the eyes at daytime, it wasn't crisp and sharp. Nighttime there was a lot more clarity. When I was hearing through the ears, very, very sharp. Now, here's the interesting thing. When I was sniffing through the nose, that was just so, it was such a powerful, powerful sense. But not only that, as I breathed in, I got an image in my jaguar-like mind of what that smell connected to. So, for example, if there was a man out there, whatever, far away, with a gun, poaching, and I sniffed and I smelt man with gun, that image of a man with a gun came into my mind at the same time. That's amazing. The smell is connected to the vision. I loved it. So that's the Black Jaguar. Don't you love them? I don't know if you can see. You know, they have those rosettes like the regular jaguars do in that blackness. They're a beautiful animal. All right, my friends, that is our journey for today through our Black Jaguar. I hope you've enjoyed hearing what it feels like to be in this most amazing animal's body. If you liked what you heard and you want to hear some more, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, share it around with all of your friends, like and comment and all those types of things so we can be more seen. I will be back at you with some more animal love later on. Thanks for watching. I'm Romy Bueller, the Holistic Animal Health Coach, and I talk to animals because they can't always help themselves.